block some of the solar energy is down. So on that particular day, and that day is the 20th, that's in the middle of this week. And that's right in between these two eclipses. So this particular week is like, this year is off the charts. This month is off the charts. This week is a very fortunate week for the themes of like I was saying, authenticity, justice, balance, harmony, being the source of truth, being who we are, and realizing that it's not just that we have to be who we are for our own sake. It's being who we are because that is our service. I'm going to share a chart as we're talking about the astrology for the week, just to have something to look at. But it's worth noting that this is the chart for the 23rd. So this is a chart for the end of next week. But we're going to start with Monday, the 17th. And what's happening on Monday is we have the sun. The sun is actually conjunct the North Node the sun is conjunct the North Node on the 17th. And when the sun is conjunct the North Node in the sign of Pisces, this is kind of trailing off of the eclipse energy with Neptune conjunct the North Node. But if we think about the sun being our ego identification, our 3D self, conjunct where we're headed collectively in the sign of Pisces, in the anaretic degrees of Pisces, this is about like the bigger picture, right? Because Pisces is all about like the collective wisdom of the sign of the zodiacal year, and like what have we learned and what can we lean back on. And so really cool to have a conjunction of sun, because that's going to be helping our physical selves embody that. Because I think part of what has felt a little bit like stop start for a lot of us is there's this astral, metaphysical, spiritual self, right? And then there's, I got to go to the grocery store. I got to pay my bills. I got to pick up the phone and call my mom. You know what I mean? And so this conjunction, I think, is really fortunate in the sense, and that's on Monday, the 17th. And coming off the heels of the eclipse, and considering that we're going to have another eclipse in a couple weeks, that I think that is a really cool way to start the week. And we also have on Monday, we have Venus semi-square to Uranus. And so Venus is in the sign of Aries. She's going to be there all week. And Uranus is in the sign of Taurus. Uranus is slow-moving planet that's pretty much going to be there for a little bit. And so this is about our communication. Semi-square is friction and static, but it's not like big square. It's kind of like there might be a little bit of a ruffle or something that's like, oh man, why'd that happen? And so this is about communication, that breakdown to break through, but it's about integrating the ego with the collective. So Venus in Aries, Venus is going to be pretty active all week long, and I'm going to mention her a few more times. But Venus in Aries, as I mentioned before, is a little bit like warrior goddess energy, but it's also about the I am self for harmony, for balance. How can my I am self in Aries be something that is for beauty and harmony and balance and justice? So semi-square Uranus is about the types of ways that we are sending out our vibrations so that we can really be the embodiment for the collective. So then we're going to fast forward to the 19th. And on the 19th, we have the sun conjunct Neptune. So not quite reflective in this particular, because this is the chart for Sunday, but you can see they're still pretty close. Sun conjunct Neptune after having just conjoined the North Node. And I'm talking about like exact conjunctions here, because conjunctions can be more custom, but we're talking about when the degrees actually really meet. And so this is more about the 3D ego identification, right? But this is about the big picture wisdom. And so we're going to be able to, with Neptune, get some downloads. Neptune in the anaretic degrees of Pisces, downloads about illusions or delusions, but really downloads about, Neptune is an intuitive, idealistic, spiritual sign. So to conjunct the sun is almost taking like this dichotomy of like nebulous energy, illusion, delusion, spirituality, and then here's the sun again, helping us to make it real, helping us to not feel like there's two different parts of ourselves, helping us to really be able to maybe have these conversations with people that we wouldn't be having them, or have these realizations that aren't going to seem so crazy spiritual. It's like spirituality and science are coming together, like now more than ever. And these planetary aspects are helping. So then we move to the 20th, and on the 20th, we still have the sun conjunct Neptune. So that's going to be the same vibe that I said before. But then we also have Venus in Aries. She's going to be sextiling Pluto in Aquarius. So this is cool because this is going to help us see that, you know, individually, we are the source of truth and balance and harmony and justice. So we're going to be invited to be our authentic selves. And it's almost like the types of changes that we're experiencing, Pluto transformation, death, rebirth, Aquarius, for the collective. We're going to feel on some subconscious level, I think, on an energetic level, actually, almost like authenticity. I got to be me. I got to speak my truth. My truth is not just I can't. It's not just I got to speak it. It's like the collective needs it. The collective needs our truth. The collective needs our authenticity. So pretty cool week to on the heels of the first eclipse in this eclipse season. So then we get to the 21st, and we have same aspect. Venus is still sextiling Pluto, so that's going to carry through the week, and it's going to carry through into the 22nd. And on the 22nd, we still have that aspect, that we also have Venus conjunct the sun, which you can see here is pretty tight right here. This is a chart for the 23rd. So it's almost like, I wonder if you can sense that these planets they're dancing and aspecting with each other. There's a unique set of planets that are lighting up and then communicating with each other and then coming together. So by the time we have Venus conjunct the sun, this is kind of like a supercharge of our I am self for the Venusian principles of balance and harmony and justice. And also, I think there's a little bit with Pluto being aspecting Venus, you know, it's like the as above, so below, as within, so without, like to really be, we're going to become aware of authenticity. There's a word again, but this is like energetic authenticity is going to be of the moment. And so then we have the other thing that happens on the 22nd, we have Venus and the sun quintile to Jupiter in Gemini. Quintile is a favorable aspect, and it's about expansion because, you know, Jupiter is a planet of expansion, but in Gemini, expansion via all perspectives, expansion by adaptability, expansion by versatility. So this is again the energy that's like, it's not yet the time for us to be like, I know the truth, this is it, set in stone. Like the expansion is going to come from this almost like opening up even more to the unknown, to the truths that might be out there, and this understanding that the collective is this like rainbow tapestry, right? And so we don't all have to have the red string. We need the blue and the purple and the green, and that's how this whole thing is created. So then we get to this chart on the 23rd, and you can see that Venus is still conjunct the sun within a degree. So that is still the I am self supercharged for balance and harmony and justice. We also have the sun sextiling Pluto. So we had Venus sextiling Pluto. Now we have, because of the conjunction, the sun is sextiling Pluto, and this is pretty close to exact. So this is again our ego self seeking up with, harmonizing with these energies of transformation. So maybe we're going to get a little bit more comfortable with where we're headed as a collective. And then the last thing I want to point out here for this week that we can expect is we have Saturn sextiling Uranus. So Saturn over here at 23 degrees of Pisces, sextiling Uranus in Taurus. Sextiling is favorable, and this is about, you know, actualization. This is saying actualization in the physical world happens because we are rooted, we are grounded into being the change. We are not just saying, oh, I broadcast, I send a signal every once in a while. Like we are like so steeped in this understanding of ourselves as creators that is how we get our self actualization. So it's like the idea of being aware of like the moment to moment to moment to moment offering, which is very Uranian, but to have it sextile Saturn toward the anaretic degree of Pisces is also, pointing us to the coming online in the 3D world of our intuitive, spiritual, collective selves. So it's interesting to note here also, I didn't put it in the astrological chart, but we're headed into the spring equinox in the North Hemisphere. And so the spring equinox, I may or may not have a chance to do something on this, but what I've come to understand energetically about the equinoxes as opposed to the solstices, because there's that equal light. It's a time where some people will say the veil is thin, but it's like the solar light can come through to humanity in a very intense way, because the Earth's, I hope I'm using the right word, magnetosphere is completely, it's like equal light, equal dark. There's something about it where the magnetosphere that would usually like block some of the solar energy is down. So on that particular day, and that day is the 20th, that's in the middle of this week. And that's right in between these two eclipses. So this particular week is like, this year is off the charts, this month is off the charts. This week is a very fortunate week for the themes of like I was saying, authenticity, justice, balance, harmony, being the source of truth, being who we are, and realizing that it's not just that we have to be who we are for our own sake. It's being who we are because that is our service. So yeah, let me go ahead and